Hey guys, Sean Bucci, SurplusFundsRiches.net. I'm a little bit early coming in here tonight, but if somebody out there can let me know you can hear and see me okay, that would be great. Got a couple of things to cover tonight, but for now, if somebody could just use the comment section, please do not use the chat section, or rather, I'm sorry, the question and answer section, but the chat section, and just let me know you can hear and see me okay, and that would be great. And then we can go forward. Excited about the February sale. I know we've been getting a lot of questions on that. Kind of calling this Flip February because we're seeing a lot of people with interest in that, trying to go upstream, because we'll actually put deals together and buy the property before the tax sale hits and give you guys with the national deed flip 15% of our net as the payout. And believe me, the nets are very high. Nets are very high right now. And then, of course, the deed flip 30, which that's the special going on. And that's a great price for that. And you get 30%. But in addition to researching debt and value, do that fast. Same skill set you got with Surplus. You also have to call them just to make sure you got the right person. But here's the key. In flipping, particularly pre-tax sale, which is what we're concentrating on that, in flipping with that, it's really easy to find the people because a lot of times they're still in the house. And just a lot easier to find folks. Rodney says yes. Pete says I see and hear you. Hey, Pete. Jennifer says yes on both. Arlene gave me a thumbs up. Cheryl says, hey, guys, all good. Excuse me. Urena, hi, Sean. I hope you guys can see it. Jeff posted up there, register for the February sale here. There's also a file download, guys. Please go ahead and download the file that's on there. A lot of great information. And, of course, it goes into the sale February 2nd and 3rd. Been getting crazy calls on that. So last year, we only had to shut it down, I think, 2 or 3 times early just because of the interest. Remember, the reason we limit the opportunity to purchase with us is because we offer partnership options. So we want to make sure that we can provide all the training and support and everything that you guys need to get where you're going. So we limit the number of people that can buy, at least the availability is what I should say. This time it's going to be February 2nd and 3rd, starting at 10 a.m. Eastern on the 2nd, ending on 10 p.m. Eastern on the 3rd. Doyle says, good evening. Kevin says, hi, Sean Jr., good to go. Scott said, good here. Mike says, hi. Larry says, hi, Sean. Hey, Peter Ken says, yes to both. Margaret says, hi from Florida. Thank you, Margaret. Hi to you. James says, good to go. Christopher says, clear sign. And Laurel says, hello. I'm going to take chat down. Remember, guys, I'm seeing that there's a Q&A question on there. Please don't use that, Al. Use the chat section. I know it's a Q&A webinar, but the chat section works better. And I know you guys can't see your questions going up there, but trust me, it works better for us. There's less glitchiness going on with any of the program. It's really solid when we have private, the comments private. And like you just saw, I'll always mention your name. So let me just hit something real quick. Sorry. Oh, there we go. Oh my gosh. Yakov says hi. Brad says hey. Jack, Kendall, Pasquale, Brad, Gina, Tara, Monica, and Trina as well as Laurel. That's great. Give me a second, guys. I am going to, you know what? I'm not even going to shut down chat. Just a quick overview. What we've started to do, and this is a trial run, is, we're trying to get away from having everybody necessarily sign in to reserve their spot unless they're serious about sales as they come up, because they're usually a 1 or 2 day event. And so what we've done with this next one, the only people that will get a heads up on February 2nd or just before in text and email are going to be those folks that signed up or reserved their spot. That's what we're going to use that for, to kind of limit how often we're getting in touch with people. The next webinar, and there'll be a link up probably in the next couple of days, but the next webinar link will be up on SurplusFundsRiches.net. Click on webinars. The next link for the next one will be up there soon. That should be on the 1st, right before the sale. And let's get into it. Guys, throw me questions. Oh, here we go. All right, David says, I'm ready to start this as the ERTC program through the CARES Act is ending soon. David, I'm sorry. You're speaking French to me. I don't know what that's about, but I'm excited that you're wanting to come on board. Joe, I have a few questions. Ask away, man. This is use the comment section for that. Arlene, should we post questions now or wait until you start? I'm going to skip the intro because I kind of covered that on the upcoming sale. I'd like to get straight into it. Any and all questions you guys have. Arlene, should we post questions now or wait? Rochelle, hi. Greg, I submitted a case for the first time last week, but another researcher got credit for the file. That's because they beat you to it. Great. This happens sometimes over the weekend, guys, where it just so happens you're working the same list as somebody else is working and they beat you by a little bit. I understand that I have to get 3 correct submissions one at a time before submitting more. Yeah, it's the 3-file rule. At first, you're monitored. You turn one in when you see it's accepted and show up on the list, and you go to the second one and the third one. And it's a good question, Greg. He says, will I be able to get feedback on my first submission and know about any errors? Unfortunately, no, Greg. We're moving fast, guys. We got incredible people working with us. So we've got a great caseload. We can handle twice what we got, but we've got a great caseload coming in. And you guys may have seen the board update. If you haven't, when you get a chance, go to YouTube. Our YouTube channel is the same as our website, all one word, Surplus Funds Riches. And if you go there, there's a board update, so you can see what's going on with new cases going under contract. But no, Greg, if somebody beats you to it, we know pretty quickly it's a duplicate, and you're going to see that on the list, and we go to the next one, brother. Our whole point is when you guys send something into us, we're going to get it out. Literally, the first call is going to happen that day. When you send it in and it goes through underwriting, I should say, okay, goes to submission. Amanda checks to make sure that the basics are there. You didn't forget to fill out the conclusion sheet. You didn't forget to include the deed, that kind of stuff. And then she sends it to Jeff for underwriting, and he goes intense into that and he's looking for issues, making sure you got it right. And then if there's an issue, he'll contact you. If not, it'll show up on one other thing can happen, but it'll show up on the list and you'll see your name in it. If somebody beats you to it, you'll see somebody else's name, but that's not a frequent thing. The other thing that you'll see is, however, we will get in touch with you if it goes all the way through underwriting and they go to skip trace it and the people have passed away. But our whole point is to get the call out after it's gone through skip tracing. And oftentimes that's the same day, the next day after we got it. Skip tracing, calls, mailings, everything is out. We are speed counts in this business, so we are really on it. Good question, Greg. Gigi, hi, Sean, Jillian in South Dakota, California. Awesome. Deb, great to see you. Randy says, evening, Chase. When will we get access to our training? Sent 2 emails already and still don't have access. I don't understand, Chase. I answered, just so you guys know, on OCD, okay? If you go to the website, Chase, SurplusFundsRiches.net, if you go there, there's a contact us. Use that email address, please, and send me the email. But, brother, I respond to every single email and every single text I get and every single phone call. So something screwed up on where you're sending that, because I'll handle that. You get the initial PDF after you buy. You get that initial PDF for each program, and each program has its own link to the resources page with additional video training. So use that. Go to SurplusFundsRiches.net, click on contact us, use the email in there if you would, please, Chase. Rodney, could you explain the deed flip 30? Sure. So in our net, I'm going to start with saying what the national deed flip is, a different program. Very similar to Surplus in that you're getting a list, though, of upcoming tax sales, property that's going to go to foreclosure. You research the debt, because obviously I'm not going to buy a house from somebody that's worth $300,000 if there's $400,000 in debt against it, right? So you research the debt. You also just do a quick lookup online. This is for national deed flip. A quick lookup online, and just to see what the value is. You can use Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, whatever, and fill that in for us and turn it in. We do the rest. We find them, call them, put the deal together, hire the mobile notary, get the deed recorded, pay off the existing debt to stop the sale, and buy it from the owner and flip it immediately. And we buy junk. We prefer to buy the stuff where I'm not kidding you, trees growing out of houses, because I can flip that typically in 2 to 3 weeks to an investor as is, where is, and I can build enough margin in there where we can double or even triple our money when we pick it up. And it's typically at the last moment. Now, the deed flip 30, instead of you getting 15% of our net of the sale, you get 30%. But in addition to researching debt and value, you are also going to have to find them and call them. And again, much easier with the deed flip 30 to find them because they're still in the house, hasn't foreclosed yet. So anyway, find them and call them, make sure they're willing to speak with us about selling the house. You turn it in, we put the thing under contract and flip it, and we give you 30% of our net. When we resell it, same thing with national, when we resell it, right? Because we have to know it's of our net. We have to know what it sells for to cut the check. I believe I have all your products. So what is new with the February products? If you have everything, David, you're probably all set. We've got a surprise coming up probably in a couple months, but Jeff and I, it's in the lab still. So we'll let you guys know about that. I'm not saying anything about that. Rochelle, on the tax sales list, pretty accurate. If you're talking about tax sale results, Rochelle, they're extremely accurate. Taxsaleresults.com for overages. You need to clarify if I misunderstood your question, please. Robert, hi, Sean. What's the average deal size we can claim for tax overage? So the average that we're seeing, Robert, is 50 grand. I kid you not. If you had contacted me 8 years ago, it would have been 25. There's no inventory on the market. It's a perfect storm for very large overages, both tax and mortgage overages being created. So 50 is our average deal, total deal. I kid you not. That's exactly what we're going for. As far as, well, you asked about overages. Yeah. How soon is our submission posted on your list? Deb, it depends. For instance, if you were to turn it in now, the first time they'd see it is tomorrow, right? It's 8 o'clock at night. My crew works 8 to 4 typically, but they only work through about noon of anything that's submitted. So if you turn in something at 1 o'clock today, it was not looked at today. It's going to be in the list tomorrow. If they look at it tomorrow and get it in the database, it would be in tomorrow night on the list. However, I would give it 2 business days just to be safe. It depends on what kind of volume we have coming in. And this is another reason why we're very, very tight. And I know we've gotten some people a little upset in the past, but we've got support. It's email based through Jeff. Can't contact me for that because he handles that, and he's training you guys on how to turn this stuff in too. So he's the best one to do that. He knows the front line better than I do. I'm better at pre-purchase questions, and then I'm handling the realtors and attorneys with our liaison and the crew in the office. So we have this set things that we do, and the paperwork people, Amanda, that's why she'll occasionally get bombarded with what really are support questions where people are trying to sneak that in. Please use everything as we've got it set up. Submissions is paperwork is submissions, and it's just submissions. And then Jeff handles support using the ticket-based email system. Okie. All right, Okie, what we do, just so everybody knows, here's what we're doing. Whenever we get one under contract, we reach out and tell you. We are not set up. You have access to our active files list, so you know if it's been accepted and it's on there. If it's accepted and on there, it's being worked very hard. It's getting mailed and called over, and we're bombarding these people, okay? So we will let you know when it goes under contract, and we will let you know when we're about 2 weeks out from receiving the check and when we receive the check, because we're constantly rechecking to make sure we know exactly how you want it sent. So that's the deal with that, Okie. You'll get updates as we get them under contract. Christy, I'm getting on board and I want to partner with you. Will I need to form an LLC, or how will it work? So if you're going to partner up at First Christie, especially with the national or Premier 16, you don't need that. I can send you a 1099 at the end of the year, and you can be taxed as an individual. You don't need to have an LLC or a corporation. And a lot of people like that. Arlene, which skip tracing microbill program do you suggest? 100 contact search or 500? Arlene, I think 100 would cover you. I really do. And this is where a lot of people don't understand. They say, Sean, why don't you try skip tracing before you check debt or all this different stuff? Check the debt first, because then you're skip tracing and you're within that 100, right? And you're not skip tracing on something that you can't go over because there's too much debt against the property. So I would take the 100 to start, Arlene. I think that's going to more than cover you. Those of you guys out there are volume options through Microbilt. And if you go to microbilt.com, micro, M-I-C-R-O, Bilt, B-I-L-T, there's no U in there, microbilt.com, talk to Randy Mosteller, okay, if you guys are looking for a skip tracing system, tell him you talk to Sean Bougie or Greater Good Company. He will waive the startup or give you a ridiculously cool deal. So if you're looking to skip trace, that's a great way to go. And what I like about Microbuilt is they're about on par with the accuracy of some of the other systems out there. However, their algorithm, whatever they're doing to find possible relatives and associates, is crazy good. So if there's a case you're really going after, remember, if you partner with us, we do that. With National Surplus, we'll do all that for you. But if there's a case that you really want to get a hold of, like we go crazy on ours. When you guys send us a deal, we're not going to just mail and call the individual. We're going to mail call the individual and all their possible relatives and associates. It is not uncommon for us to send 15 to 20 pieces of mail out on one file and to make probably 12 to 15 calls on that file. So we hammer it. But that's one of the benefits to Microbuilt is, for some bizarre reason, they get possible relatives and associates right. Junior. Wow, a lot of questions coming in tonight. That's good. Junior says, and guys, don't use the Q&A section, please, right? Just use the chat section. I know you can't see your own stuff, but believe me, I'll call you out. Junior, any advice for someone that is joining in February? I've watched the 1 hour training, took notes, and look forward to the future partnership. Junior, you're on it. Guys, now remember, we're 2 weeks out. It's really not that long from now. I think you did great by watching that. Those of you guys on here that don't know about it, I put a 1 hour and 5 minute training together that is intense and that will give you a great idea what to expect if you want to come on board with us. Just look up free surplus funds training. It's a yellow background with an outline of a house. It's all yellow and it's an hour and 5 minutes long. It's on our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel, again, Surplus Funds Rich is all one word, but it's on there. And I think that's probably the best training that's ever been put on there for free anyway. That'll really walk you through. So I'm glad you said that. David, can you explain the one-on-one mentorship for those who purchase that package? If you buy that program, David, that's expensive as heck. Well, first of all, if you bought the program, I'm sorry, January 1st, you may be talking about that, which was a surplus mentorship triple play. If you bought that and you got the book, read the book, because it tells you how to put that in. What that is when you get somebody under contract, that's a do-it-yourself book. Once you get somebody under contract, call us. We're going to walk you through, because that's when everybody freaks out, is when they get somebody in, oh my God, I've got somebody to agree. What the heck do I do? You got the contracts back, shoot us an email. It's all in your ebook on how to do it. And we'll take up to an hour and make sure that you are going to get paid out on that deal. We do offer a separate mentorship program. Guys, you really don't need it with our systems, our opinion. A lot of guys start sending stuff in a couple of days. No kidding. I'm not just saying that to say it. So we try not to do the mentorship where it's paid mentorship just because we don't feel it's necessary. And because of that, we don't want to do it. So we charge $750 for an hour if you guys just want that, if you just want that separately. So use support and these live webinars. I think you'll be fine. Deb, I had a file bounce back to my email. I'm not sure why that happened. Do you think it was a technical glitch? What happens, Deb? Everything's like double and triple saved. Good question. When you see that happen, okay, and you're going to get this replay. So next time, it's only you. Not everybody do this, please. But it's only you. But right now, anyway, when you see that happen where there's a bounce, it's actually usually not bouncing from our paperwork email address. It's bouncing from, it's also forwarded to another email. So take a look at that bounce and you'll see if it's really an issue, and watch the board. If it shows up, then you realize it's a bounce from when it was forwarded to our backup email address. Everything's backed up like 3 times, guys. We're kind of crazy about that. I'm really OCD about making sure we don't lose anything. I'm new and I have a question about where to find deed and foreclosure deed. I've read the book twice, but I think I'm overthinking this. Any pointers or where to find this info? So you might want to read it one more time. I'm not making fun of you, but I mean, you find that on the Registered Deeds Department. That's right in there. It's a step-by-step. Jeff did an actual example file. Do yourself a favor on the file example in the ebook. And there's 2 places to find this, but on the file example in the ebook, when Jeff made that file example, follow behind and do it. So this is the name. This is where I'm going for the Register of Deeds on this. This is what I'm doing. Follow behind and see how it matches up. And I'm telling you, when people do that, it comes naturally. The other thing is, click the link from your ebook to the resources page, and there's video training on there too. Good question. What is the average length of time from file submission to the closing of the deal to get paid with surplus funds? Al, 3 to 4 months. I used to say 3, but a lot of the counties are backed up right now. Remember that we're just coming off of major holidays, right? So they're a lot backed up right now, and they're really taking their time. That's from when we get a hold of them. Okay, so it might well, actually, that includes getting a hold of them in most cases, but sometimes it takes longer to get a hold of people. Guys, we do a double hit when we skip trace these people. We hit them when we first get the file, call and mail, eliminate all the wrong addresses as they come in. I mean, this is a big undertaking. Eliminate the wrong addresses when we get return mail, and of course, mark numbers as we go. But we'll also re-hit them in a month or two just to see if something else popped up in the skip tracing. Because sometimes right at the foreclosure, they took off. They're in mom and dad's basement. I mean, we've actually dealt with people that were living in their cars, okay, or week-to-week motels, that kind of thing. So we'll hit them again, but 3 to 4 months is the norm with the national, okay? Some areas are a little bit slower. Pennsylvania, some of the counties are a little bit slower to pay out. Arizona, Nevada can be a little bit slower. It's hit or miss on that. Arlene, once we sign up on the 2nd of February, how soon before we have access to the training to the leads to start working? Okay, I'm so glad you said what you just said, Arlene. We don't give you leads. We tell you how to get your own list. We teach you how to fish. We're not going to give you, if we gave out, let's say Jeff and I got 50 lists tomorrow. What are we going to do if we had that many people that were working consistently? Does everybody just get one list, or do we give everybody all the lists because we don't know who's going to actually work them? I mean, how do you do that? We just teach you how to get your own list. It's a lot easier. But as far as getting access to the training, you get an emailed PDF, which is step-by-step. Read that twice for comprehension. Then it has a link with a password for additional stuff, but to the resources page with video training and all you're gonna need to succeed. So you'll get that same day. Scott, how often is a list updated to see if a file is being worked? Daily, Scott. But again, I went over this a little earlier, and you might have asked this before I did, but it can be a 2-day delay just because, I mean, you may have turned it in at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and we were done looking at all the stuff that was turned in at noon or so. And now we're, the next day it'll be looked at, maybe another delay. So it could be up to 2 days. You mentioned the 28% return rate on files in a previous video. 28% return rate. I have 4 cases in and trying to build the pipeline. Is it reasonable to expect 36 days to get a good bulk of cases doing 1 to 2 files a week? At least that's what I am targeting. Larry, I would say you really need the magic number is 20 turn-ins before you actually see results and you're seeing stuff getting under contract and moving forward. 28% return, I don't know what you're talking about with that. I did a conversion rate and there was like 28% of the people I've either moved out of the country or can't be found. So it's a numbers game, guys. It's a numbers game. But given what you've told me, 1 to 2 for 30, 60 days. Yeah, I think that'd be a great target. If you're working 1 to 2 files a week for 30 or 60 days, 1 to 2 files a week. So you're talking about 8 a month. It'll take you a couple of months to build your pipeline. Yeah. Junior, any suggestions for self-development books that will help me that you've seen benefit as a professional? Not so much the self-help stuff, Junior, and I'm not saying I didn't see it. I'm not going to get into a religious thing here, but I will say anything, not so much self-help, but as far as the sales side of this industry, the one person that never goes out of style and as he's responsible for our takeaway close and the way that we look at things when we're dealing with people, Zig Ziglar. And yes, he's been around for 50, 60 years, I think, but he's the greatest salesperson of all time. And that's phenomenal. Napoleon Hill is an obvious choice as far as being disciplined and putting plans into gear. Another one may surprise you. This is the last one I'll mention. Sun Tzu, The Art of War, never goes out of style. It is a fantastic, because it can be applied outside of warfare. Okay. And I'm going to give you some things to consider, guys, real quickly. One of them is, if you fight every battle, let me repeat that. I'm sorry. Let me redo it. If everything is important, this is a military saying, and I wasn't in the military. If everything is important, nothing's important. And what I mean by that is if you do not prioritize, you are going to die on every hill. You are going to fight every fight, even the stuff that doesn't matter, and you're going to lose the battles that matter. The other thing I will tell you, one other little thing that I thought was great, it's from Samuel Clemens, Tom Sawyer, all that. And that is eat the frog. He said it would go much better for people if they would eat a frog first thing in the morning. And his point was, do whatever the most difficult thing you have on your plate is. Do it before you do anything else. Just get that out of the way. The rest of the day goes cake, okay? The thing that you're dreading or that you just don't want to do or is a pain in the butt, do that first. What are the items needed for a submission? Our worksheet, Laurel, which goes over, checking debt. This is for the surplus fund side. Sorry, got some allergies here. The worksheet, and on top of that, a copy of the deed from when it foreclosed and the deed from when the people got it. It's all explained in there. Usually it's a copy of the tax assessor's office too to show us that you did that. You're just showing your work. It's not hard to do. Sharita, do you accept unofficial copies of deeds with the national? Yes, we do. Sharita, a lot of them will be marked, unofficial copies. It's because they're not actually pulled out of the court physically. You know what I mean? An official copy, those are like $10 a piece, for goodness sake. So yes, absolutely we do. That's a good question. Deb, must we submit a 1099 form with each program submission, or is one good enough for all of them? Deb, all you actually have to do is once you sign up for the program and get the program, there's a link to the resources page. There's an independent contractor. These are great questions tonight. Independent contractor agreement, okay? On that page, an independent subcontractor, contractor, however you want to say it. And you fill that out online. It just basically says, I got to pay you what I agreed to pay you. You got to be nice to my crew. Seriously, we're dealing with the general public, so that was actually necessary to put in there. But that's it. I'm not going to need a 1099. You're going to put part, like the last 4 of your social in there. And like right now, I'm actually getting in touch with people, double checking socials, because I can look that up on some of our skip tracing stuff. We do have access to regulated information. We're completely cleared for that. But we'll double check that, and we will just 1099 you. We don't need a form filled out by you. When we get the lists, are they exclusive or are the members? Again, Arlene, you probably hadn't gotten my answer before you asked that again. We teach you how to get your own lists. It's not hard to get lists. Guys, watch that 1 hour free training on Surplus Funds Riches, our YouTube channel. Watch that 1 hour training on there, and you see, I actually find lists for you right in front of you. So you can also Google free surplus funds training. And when you do that, you'll see a video pop up in your Google search that's got a yellow background with a yellow outline of a house. And it's 1 hour and 5 minutes long. Go, guys, if nothing else, go watch that. You're going to love it. All right. Started a new case yesterday. And so this is Linda. I saw that there was a request to the third party for excess funds. That was in 2004. And there was never a disbursement on any further contact. Would you kick this back if I submitted it in? There was a request for third party. Do you know what the dollar amount was, Linda? Because if it took all of and it was granted and it took all the money, then obviously we're not going to want to go after it. This is probably more of a, Linda, I'm not blowing you off, but we're running out of time. Probably more of a support question. Guys, whatever you do, I love the community because everybody asks a question here that somebody else didn't think of. But whatever you do, we've got ticket-based, email-based support. Use that. It's free. It's included in your system if you guys bought, obviously, right? It's for members only. But don't substitute the webinars for that. That's going to be a support question. I think I'm going to push that off to Jeff because I'm not sure exactly the question. Rodney said, cool. Robert said, wow. Marianne, when researching mortgage surplus funds, title stuff is done. How do we search for other credit, medical, IRS liens on the property? So, Marianne, the way we teach it with the surplus funds program is you always use an attorney. And we do that for like 3 different reasons, 4 even. One, you're getting a lot more credibility because you're using an attorney. A lot. Okay. And not only with the claimant are you getting more credibility, but with the court or the funds holder, whoever that happens to be. The other part of that is when we get somebody under contract, we immediately send the documents to the attorney and have them double check additional debt that we can't check online. Look for the IRS tax lien, judgments, stuff that's not going to pop up in a normal public access search. So that's what we do. We do that for you, by the way, with the national. You don't have to look that up. We do that when you're on the National Surplus Funds training. But that's what we have them check that. And the other beauty with having an attorney, guys, is let's say there's a form that needs to be filled out in that county in addition to just making the claim. That's our attorney's responsibility. I don't have to look up the form for every single county. And it can be different county to county in the same state. So that's why we use attorneys. I hope that answered your question. I am part of the National Surplus Tax, well, it's National Surplus Funds Program. So I understand you contact us once under contract. How do you contact us, phone or email? Text and email to start with, Margaret. Gina, Jeff, would you please repeat the tax sale results URL? Oh, this is my name, Sean. Jeff is the moderator in the background. He's my business partner. So would you repeat it? taxsaleresults.com. It's a great way. If you want to buy a list, that's great. You don't have to, guys. It's not hard to get a list. The biggest mistake people make is they go, oh, I have to have a list in New Brunswick, Connecticut, and it's got to be that county. Now, why? There's 3,200 counties. If you're running into an issue with getting a list from a county, just go on the next one or go on the next state or whatever. Just go get a list, right? People get all hung up on that. They get their stuff in a wad with that. They just can't. They don't understand. Oh my gosh, I have to have this one. No, you don't. Go to the next one. Sometimes it's a little more difficult to get it from one county to the other. And whatever you do, I don't understand why people go, I've got to get it because that's my local county. Why? It's online from home, guys. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Right? All right. If a county has 50,000 people on average, how many overages will be on that county's list? Joe, way too many variables to me to answer that directly and to be honest. Okay. It depends. If it's in the Southeast and a 50,000 person county, could be a couple per month. It depends on how often they have it. If it's in the North, it's probably going to be nothing. You get in the Northeast and it's that small, you're going to see 4 a year, because they tend to be a lot more fiscally conservative in the Northeast. And it's a lot harder to get a mortgage in the first place up there. So it's a little different animal. But he goes on average, how many unresearched overages are needed for one deal? For example, 100 on a list turns on one deal, 3. How many? It depends, Joe. I did it. Do me a favor. I'm not ignoring your question. Go to our YouTube site, Surplus Funds Riches, all one word. You should be able to search our videos. Okay. Put in the word conversion and it'll break it down for you perfectly. Let's see. He had a part 3. Yeah. That's all in there, Joe. It's all on that video. It's going to help you a lot more than I can in the limited time I have left. Deb, is that East Coast time you're going by before we see list postings? I don't understand the question, Deb. Junior, I know it's been mentioned a lot for someone that is a resident in Seattle. Do you think there is a loophole in getting surplus here, or is it just too complicated? It's not worth the time. We don't work Washington. We won't partner with you on Washington, Oregon, Colorado, North Carolina. You can't get a list. You have to use our panning system. That's only in the diamond bundle. And Florida is a separate program. So you can work 45 states. Don't get caught up in working your local state. Please stop doing that, guys. It's silly. When dealing with tax sales surplus, is a title search still necessary, Juan? Yeah, you got to check the debt against the property. You got to check that. Not only are you checking the debt, Juan, but tax departments are notoriously slow on updating their list of owners. So I am not kidding you. They'll list a foreclosure and list an owner that had it, but the owner had actually quitclaimed it or sold it to somebody in the last year. Tax department didn't update the records. The list is showing somebody that's owed the money that isn't even owed the money. You got to do title work, guys. No way around it. And Juan, it's not hard once you get used to it. Yeah, it's going to take you 30, 40 minutes for the first 1 or 2 of them, and then you'll get down to 15 minutes a file. Sharita, is there a max amount of debt versus property value accepted for national deed flip? Absolutely. Sharita, let's see if Jeff jumped in on this, but I don't remember what that is. You can call me tomorrow and I'll look it up. But yes, I mean, we can't, for instance, I can't buy a property that's worth $300,000 for $270,000. I mean, you take out closing costs and possible issues with the property and I'm underwater, right? So I don't know what the percentage is. Jeff handled that, but if you've already purchased, you can ask that as a support question or send me an email or a text. Go to surplusfundsriches.net, click on contact us, use that number for email for text, or the email address that email me, and I will get your answer. I'm not blowing you off on this. Can we please create a deceased list to check names against, just like the accepted list? Not going to do it, Ken. They're coming in too fast. Jeff, for microbuilt skip tracing service, call Randy Mosteller. Oh, he put the info up there for you. Microbilt, 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 Chase. Diane, brand new to Surplus. Are there some states that are easier to work than others? So Diane, we just say that you should not work Oregon, Washington State, Colorado. Florida for us is a separate program because the statutes are so different down there. It's just a different program, guys. And then North Carolina you won't be able to get a list there. Only our panning system, which is only available in Diamond Bundle, teaches you how to estimate that. So other than that, no. I mean, we're all over the planet right now. If you guys watch, go to our Surplus Funds Riches, all one word, YouTube channel, and you'll see the deed board update or deal board update I just recently did, and you'll see actually I blacked it out. Anyway, we're in almost every single state right now. After we pass a file to you to continue working, do we have any further contact with the client? I want to be able to tell them who to expect they will be dealing with throughout the process. So Michael, if you're working surplus funds, you're talking about the Premier 16 program, and the Premier 16 program requires you to call the people. Once you call them to find out if they're willing to speak with us and you got the right person, okay, Premier 16, or in the D-Flip program also, if you were calling the people, once you hand it off to us, you're done. And we will, when that's turned in, 24 hours, they're getting contact, max, okay? Great question, guys. Jack, on Premier 16, after submitting the initial file, and we have contact with the claimants ready to work with you, what's the procedure? So Jack, if you read the ebook, there's a second submission stage. That's the one that makes all the alarm bells go off in the office, tells us we got to immediately get in touch with these people because you reached them, you found out they're the right people, they're willing to work with us. Now remember, you are not negotiating the deal. We negotiate the deal, okay? It's important I say that because I had somebody actually negotiate, and Premier 16 pays you 16%, right? So what happened was somebody said, hey, I got 2 deals ready to go, already negotiated, everything's cool. Where do I send them in? I said, what do you mean you negotiated? He said, yeah, I negotiated. I said, what percentage did you take? And he said, 10. I said, so we're going to make 10%. We're going to have 10% of this coming into us, and we're going to pay you 16? And he said, well, I hadn't really thought of that. I said, those are your deals now. We negotiated, guys, when it turned in as Premier 16, or if you're working the deed flip side, the deed flip 30. Hot, guys, this is going to be the best year deed flips ever. So if you haven't gotten the deed flip 30 or national deed flip or the flipping, look at the flipping bundle we got on there. Now's the time to do that. February 2nd and 3rd, that's a stupid sale. You guys know the drill. Jeff always puts them in super stupid low, and I get mad at him. But he's handling the sport on it, so it's his call. Jeff? Anyway, he said the debt to value for deed flip files varies by the property value and the program. Yeah, it's a sliding scale. So, I mean, if you get up with me, I'll see if I can't look that up. Jack Kendall on Premier 16 after submitting the initial file. Yeah, okay. David says yes. So David, that mentorship triple play, you get that mentorship when you get it under contract. Pascal, I'm new to everything. I want to partner and learn. I need to know what programs to buy at first. Pascal, the easiest answer for me is buy the largest bundle that you can afford. There's a file download, guys. Haven't done it, download that file. You guys will not be able to download that file if you're watching this on a replay on YouTube. It will be, there's 2 different downloads on our products page, SurplusFundsRiches.net. Click on products, okay? Go to the products page. There's a download for pricing and a download that's an overview of all of the programs. The biggest bundle you can afford without getting yourself freaked out, right? Don't be where you're going to be operating out of desperation, right? Because then we find that you try to take shortcuts. It's human nature. You try to take shortcuts and you're all freaked out because you just made this huge purchase. I mean, if you're thinking about surplus funds, national surplus is $597. Of course, if you get any bundle at all, you're saving crazy money, and you're going to want to do that anyway down the road, if not up front. So you might as well get up front because you can't just upgrade. You got to pay for that bundle later, regardless. Same thing with the deed flips right now with flipping property. My God, the opportunity is insane this year, so I would pick some of that up. Hi, Sean. I saw your note. You're right. Thank you. Hi, Sean. If you have a mortgage debt of $300,000 and Department of HUD, Department of $300,000, second HELOC, are they the same debt or are they total of $600,000 in debt? Read the deed, Sam. Typically, if it's a HUD where they've transferred it from a regular mortgage originator / lender to HUD or that type of thing, it should reference the other the other deal. And use support if that wasn't clear, please. But it should actually reference the other recording and the other company, the company that started the whole thing. So read the deed. Christopher, when are you offering rightfulownerproject.org? Have no idea when it's going to be rebuilt. Christopher, I love GoDaddy. They do a lot of our domain hosting, not all of it, but a lot of it. But they dropped the ball on that, and I need to pick it back up, but it's been forever. We've been trying to rebuild that. Arlene says, thanks. Rachel, Wisconsin, Rachel here. Are you having any luck with Wisconsin and their compliance? Wow, what a great question. So, you guys, they just lost a Supreme Court case in Wisconsin. Same thing with Michigan and some other places. We had a deal we actually just put together. We got the money confirmed. The problem with Wisconsin is they already spent the money. So our attorney went back with the other two. It was about $30,000 deal we put together. Went back to the other one and said, hey, what's it going to take to get some money out for these people? And they said 75. We're gonna only give you 75% of this for now because we just don't have money. We're not ready for this. And the attorney got up with our claimant and they agreed. So we're going after just 22.5 on that one. But I have a feeling we're the very first people to be able to pull something out of Wisconsin because they don't even have procedures in place yet. How many files can a partner send in at a time? At first, Lisa, you turn in one, see that it shows up on the list, turn in the second one, see that it shows on the list. Now you got two accepted. That's what it means that it's on the list. Accepted it in your name. Turn in the third one. Once that's accepted, now you can turn in a ton of files a day, up to 100 a month. So you're good. Really good. What advice can you give about trying to find a good attorney to work with you? I've ran into a lot of attorneys who refuse to work with someone who recovers surplus. So, Deanna, a couple things. A simple Google search does help, but also calling the state bar and saying, hey, trying to find an attorney with surplus funds, and they love to refer out the bar members to you. So that's another way to go. Also, if you have a real estate attorney that you like and you can introduce to this whole niche, our central attorney is a real estate attorney, and that's a great way to go because they understand 90% of it. Good question. And Arlene says, agree, Zig is awesome. Yeah, nothing like Zig Ziglar. Robert, with the surplus funds 50-50, what states are your responsibility compared to national and premier? What steps are our responsibility? 50-50, Robert, which is only available in the Diamond Bundle, right? That's the only way you can get that. That's the only way you can get Panning Frid and surplus funds. That's the only way you can get the mentorship triple play. Those programs we launched for one day, our give back programs. The steps with that are you've got to go get your own list. You research the debt. Okay. We will actually do skip traces on I think it's the first 10 or I think maybe more than that. And we'll do that for you. And then you call them, make sure you got the right person and we'll speak with us and turn it in at that point. Carrie says, amazing book. Thank you, Carrie. Tab, I had 2 files sent back because the surplus list I supplied in the file did not have the surplus amount listed. The surplus list showed the property sales price and the minimum bid required by the county. However, the tax sale price minus the minimum bid matched exactly the surplus amount I verified by calling county. I don't understand why the surplus list I use is not acceptable. Tab, that's a follow-up. You know what? I think I actually saw that. Here we go. For national surplus. Yeah, I actually saw it. You already got a response to this, Tab. I saw the response. I saw the back and forth with support on this, and Jeff's repeating it. For national, we require a surplus funds list that shows the amount held. We do not allow estimated surplus for national surplus funds. If you can get the surplus amount in writing from the county, that will work as well. So in other words, if you want to follow up behind that and send an email out and say, hey, I've got to check these 5 cases. Is there surplus? And if so, how much? You're good. Awesome. But I'm pretty sure we already answered that with you. Ever hear of John Camp? No, I haven't, Brian. Jeanette, hi, Sean. Just wanted to thank you for all the mini videos you send out. And by the way, Brian, I know that sounded weird how I send that. Sorry. I didn't mean anything weird. I just never heard of it. Jeanette, just wanted to thank you for all the mini videos. You're welcome. The debt to value for deed flip, that was one of, yeah. Jeff also did the February sale, actual direct link. Guys, sign in if you're serious. If you're serious, you got the money to make the purchase. And I'm not, if you don't, that's fine. But if you've got the money to make the purchase and you really want to buy February 2nd or 3rd, you should probably reserve your spot. SurplusFundsRiches.net. Click on products, go to the products page, and you can do that at the bottom of that page. I think Jeff probably ended this because we typically try to get this done in half an hour. Sorry, Jeff, for going over. I just wanted to hit all the questions. I'm going to look real quick at Q&A. I'm going to answer these, even though, guys, I really don't like using the Q&A section in the webinar system we have here, but I'm going to do it real quick, just because you guys have been giving me so many good questions today. When we find someone willing to do a deal, yeah, you asked that question. Doyle, Sean, as I understand it, mortgage foreclosures hardly ever expire. True. Is that correct? Depends on the state, but there's a lot of states that do hold that money forever. However, it can get transferred out of the county to the state unclaimed. That's a different animal, and that's far different than working with surplus funds. And that's why, because you said, why is there a 4 to 6 months deadline to work in the panning program? No, that's actually because we want to make sure that it's not too old, and there's a much better chance that either people didn't get notified, because it's been 4 to 6 months. There's a good chance they somehow got notified, either through another company, which is rare, very rare with that instance, but also from the county. They may have gotten some notice some way or the other. It's easier for us to put a deal together, obviously, when it's fresher than that. What is the max debt? What, do you accept unofficial copies? Yeah, yes. What's the max debt? Okay, yes, that. All right. How soon after you get a contract we receive the $500? So what we're doing with that, Sharita, is if we get a deal under contract, we reach out and tell you that. Once we get the deal under contract, get the paperwork back, get it to the attorney, and the attorney double checks there is not additional debt against the property, no claim has been made. They make sure everything's on go. At that point, I'm going to reach out and tell you it's under contract. And at that point, if you want to ask for the $500 upfront amount, that's fine. Just keep in mind, and it's very rare that they fall apart at that point, but we have no problem advancing you guys $500 on a deal out of your commission, obviously coming out of the back end. Once we put it in a contract and it goes through all those hoops, we have no problem doing that. But we're going to have you guys probably signing off that, hey, you understand, like if you got lucky and turned in 3 files, right, and one of them got on contract, because that would be a high conversion rate. That'd be a crazy conversion rate. But if you got lucky like that and you wanted that advance, there's a good chance we might not have put the other 2 under contract. Somebody might have moved out of the state, moved out of the country, whatever, right? So having said that, you'd be signing something saying that if this doesn't work out, if it goes sideways for some reason or another, we'll either take it out of another deal if we have it under contract. If we don't, it's a 60-day payback period. But we found that a lot of people, and we're changing that now, just so that we're very upfront about it. Time flipping, take the median sale price for that area and take 40% of that value and look for properties that have a tax value of that number or less. Where do I get a tax value of the property? It's not on realtor.com. Hey, Kim, it's right in the ebook. If you got time flipping, it's right in the ebook. You go to the tax assessor's office. That's where you find tax values for property. Plug in tax assessor, name of the county, name of the state, and a Google search, and you'll be able to find go only to the website that has the real information there. Okay. Go only to the website that is county run, government run, not like a third party deeds.com site or something like that. But use a tax assessor. They can also be called the tax collector or tax department. You're looking for real property tax for that county, and you'll see that information there. Jeff also made another point here with the panning. With panning, you'll have no idea if the funds are still available, as you cannot confirm. With the panning program, and that's only in our diamond bundle, we're going after surplus funds that nobody else knows about. Nobody, because we had to really, Jeff really knocked this out of the park. We had to figure out how to do solid estimates for mortgage foreclosures in about 20 states, where the county actually lets the attorney not only handle the foreclosure, but the disbursement of the surplus. And the county, or rather the attorney, is not going to give that list out to you. And by the way, they will not confirm the funds. They're not going to confirm the funds. The only way they'll confirm the funds is if we have a contract with the owner, with the ex-owner rather, the claimant. And that's the power of attorney is included in that. And they'll actually work with our attorney at that point to even answer and confirm funds. Again, guys, you're going to see a couple of VAs online that are selling mortgage overage lists for like Texas and Nevada, a couple of these other states, California, where they're estimating that list and they're not doing it right. So don't buy those mortgage overage lists in those states where it's handled. It's non-judicial. It's handled by the attorneys. Hope that helped you guys. Been a great, I mean, this is a long one, but fantastic questions. Remember, go to the site. You got to file download right now because I'm about to turn this thing off. But if you haven't downloaded that file, go to the site, SurplusFundsRiches.net. Click on products. Go to the products page. There's a download for pricing on the sale February 2nd and 3rd. And that's the only 2 days you're going to be able to get it until March. And then there's also a download overview of programs. Once you have read those, if you still have questions, here's my direct cell phone, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday through Friday, 704, and nobody else is doing this, 704-791-9398. Guys, watch us on the, if you missed it, I'll say it one more time, but also watch the replay, 704-791-9398. By the way, it's also on the website, right? 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday through Friday. Please read those downloads first so that you can ask me specific questions and we're not on the phone forever. Thank you very much for your time tonight. I hope you guys have a great week.